Once upon a time, in the serene and culturally rich village of Amanze, life moved at a harmonious pace. Amanze was known far and wide for its beautiful landscapes, peaceful people, and deeply rooted traditions. The elders, custodians of the land's customs, took great pride in ensuring every child understood and respected their culture. They believed that preserving these values was the key to the village's unity and prosperity. Among the traditions of Amanze, one stood out as particularly strange and sacred: the belief in market spirits. Each community in Amanze had its own market day, aligned with the traditional 4 market days of Afo, Uko, Eke, and Oye. It was said that spirits frequented these markets, buying and selling just like humans. One rule was strictly upheld: no one was allowed to bend down and look between their legs while at the markets. The elders warned that anyone who defied this rule would face severe consequences, possibly disappearing forever. In this peaceful village lived Obayora, a respected and industrious man. Obayora was known for his wisdom, kindness, and diligence in farming. His wife, Ekema, was a beautiful and gentle woman, and together they had 4 children, 3 boys and a girl. Their third child, Mezie, was unlike his siblings. While the others were obedient and respectful, Mezie was daring, inquisitive, and often skeptical of the customs and beliefs that governed the village. Mezie was notorious for questioning everything. One day, he asked his father, "Papa, why do women in our village forbid eating kites? What is so special about that bird?" Obayora looked at him sternly. "It is our tradition, Mezie. Women are not allowed to eat it because it is sacred. Our ancestors forbade it to protect the balance in our land." Mezie smirked. "Sacred? Or just another baseless superstition? If I were a woman, I would eat kites and prove nothing would happen." Obayora sighed, frustrated with his son's defiant nature. "Mezie, you must learn to respect our ways. Not everything in life requires questioning." But Mezie would not listen. He dismissed the traditions as mere fabrications of the past, designed to instill fear in people. One fateful afternoon, Mezie and his friends gathered under the big mango tree near the village square. As usual, their discussion veered toward the strange rules and customs of Amanze. This time, the topic of market spirits came up. "Do you believe the story of the woman who disappeared after looking between her legs in the market?" one of the boys asked. "It's true," another friend said nervously. "My grandmother told me she witnessed it herself." Mezie laughed mockingly. "You're all too gullible. There are no spirits in the markets. These are just tales to scare us." His friends looked uneasy. "Mezie, you can't be sure. Why risk it? Even the elders fear such things." "Fear," Mezie said, his voice filled with confidence. "I'll prove to you that it's all nonsense. On the next market day, I'll go to the market, bend down, and look between my legs. Nothing will happen." His friends gasped. "Don't try it. The spirits will harm you." But Mezie had made up his mind. "Mark my words. I'll do it and return unharmed. You'll see." The next market day arrived. The village was buzzing with activity as traders displayed their goods: baskets of yams, ripe plantains, woven fabrics, and pots of steaming soup. Mezie and his friends entered the crowded marketplace, their hearts pounding with anticipation and fear. Mezie avoided the section where his mother sold vegetables. He knew she would stop him if she saw him. Instead, he led his friends to the center of the market. "Are you really going to do it?" one of his friends whispered anxiously. "Yes," Mezie said, grinning. "Watch and learn." The market was at its peak, with people haggling, laughing, and moving about. Mezie took a deep breath, bent down, and looked between his legs. At first, nothing happened. He laughed. "See, I told you." But then, his laughter stopped. A strange chill ran through his body. He began to see something terrifying. Shadowy figures moved among the crowd, masked beings with brightly colored faces. They floated above the ground, their feet never touching the earth. They were buying and selling, just like humans, but their voices were whispers, airy and incomprehensible. Mezie's eyes widened in horror. He tried to stand, but his body froze. His friends screamed as they saw his stiffened form, his eyes rolling back in their sockets. The market erupted into chaos. People abandoned their wares and gathered around Mezie, whispering prayers and fearful chants. What happened to him? Someone asked. It's the spirits. He disobeyed the rule. Ekema heard the commotion and rushed over. When she saw her son, she collapsed, wailing uncontrollably. Mezie, my son. Obayora arrived soon after, his first scream. He held his wife, trying to console her, but the shame and fear weighed heavily on him. Blank. The elders called an emergency meeting at the shrine within the market. They performed rituals to appease the market deity. The chants and sacrifices continued until midnight, with Obayora and Ekema watching helplessly. Finally, Mezie sneezed, his body relaxing as he collapsed to the ground. His mother rushed to hold him, tears streaming down her face. The day after Mezie's ordeal, the village square was packed with curious onlookers. News of the previous day's events had spread like wildfire, and everyone wanted to witness the elders' judgment. The square buzzed with whispers as Obayora, Ekema, and Mezie stood before the council of elders, their heads bowed in shame. The eldest among them, Ogbuefi Anochi, rose slowly to address the crowd. His voice was deep and commanding, carrying the weight of generations. The land of Amanze has rules and customs handed down by our forefathers. These traditions are not mere stories, they are the foundation of our peace and prosperity. Anyone who defies them not only endangers themselves but also brings shame and danger upon the entire community. The villagers nodded in agreement, murmuring among themselves. Ekema clutched her wrapper tightly, tears streaming down her face. Obayora stood beside her, his expression somber but resolute. Mezie, however, looked pale and shaking, the events of the previous day still fresh in his mind. The head elder continued, Obayora, you are a respected man in this village. But as the father of Mezie, you bear the responsibility for his actions. How could you allow your son to grow so disrespectful of our ways? Obayora knelt on the ground, his voice trembling. Ogbuefi Anochi, my family and I are deeply sorry. My son acted out of ignorance and arrogance. We will do whatever is required to make amends. The elders whispered among themselves before Ogbuefi Anochi turned back to the crowd. To appease the spirits and restore balance to our community, we have decided that Obayora's family must pay a fine of 12 bags of yam, 2 goats, and 20 pieces of white cloth. Additionally, they must sponsor a feast for the entire village to cleanse the market of the impurity brought upon it by Mezie's actions. The villagers gasped. It was a hefty fine, one that would take months of hard work to gather. Ekema cried out, her voice choked with emotion. Please, have mercy on us. We will do our best to comply, but the fine is too much. Ogbuefi Anochi raised his hand, silencing the crowd. Ekema, the spirits have spoken through us. This fine is not just a punishment, it is a warning to everyone. Let it be known that no one is above the customs of our ancestors. Obayora nodded solemnly. We accept the judgment and will fulfill the requirements. We beg for the community's forgiveness. The following weeks were filled with preparation. Obayora worked tirelessly on his farm, harvesting yams and selling extra produce to gather the resources needed. Friends and relatives, moved by the family's plight, offered to help, donating yams, cloth, and even a goat. Finally, the day of the feast arrived. The village square was transformed into a celebration ground. Pots of steaming soup, roasted yams, and jugs of palm wine were placed in the center, and villagers gathered to eat, drink, and dance. It was both a time of reconciliation and a reminder of the consequences of defiance. During the feast, the elders performed another set of rituals, this time to officially cleanse the market. They chanted, poured libations, and made sacrifices to the deity of the marketplace. The villagers watched in silence, the seriousness of the occasion sinking in. Throughout the feast, Mezie stayed by his parents' side, his head bowed. He could feel the stares of the villagers and hear their whispers. He was no longer the bold, defiant boy who questioned everything. The experience had humbled him deeply. As the elders concluded the final ritual, Ogbuefi Anochi called Mezie forward. The crowd fell silent as Mezie knelt before the council. Mezie, the elder began, you have brought shame and suffering upon your family, but you have also learned a valuable lesson. Tell us, what have you learned from this experience? Mezie's voice was quiet but firm. I have learned that our traditions, even the ones that seem strange, are not to be taken lightly. I was foolish and disrespectful, and I brought harm to my family and my community. I am deeply sorry. I promise to honor the ways of our ancestors from now on. The villagers nodded approvingly, and some even clapped. Ogbuefi Anochi placed a hand on Mezie's shoulder. You have shown humility, and that is a good start. But remember, humility must guide your actions every day. Let your story serve as a warning to others. Mezie returned to his parents, who embraced him tightly. Ekema whispered, "My son, I thank the spirits for sparing you. Never forget this day." In the weeks and months that followed, Mezie's transformation was evident to everyone in Amanze. He became more respectful, obedient, and eager to learn about his village's customs. He spent time with the elders, listening to their stories and understanding the deeper meanings behind the traditions he had once mocked. Obarora and Ekema, though burdened by the fine, were proud of their son's growth. They knew the price they had paid was steep, but they were grateful for the second chance given to their family. From that day on, whenever Mezie heard anyone question the customs of Amanze, he would smile and say, "Our elders may seem strict, but their wisdom protects us in ways we cannot understand. Trust me, I've learned that the hard way." And so, the village of Amanze continued to thrive, its customs intact, and its people united. The tale of Mezie's defiance became a story passed down to generations, a cautionary tale about respect, humility, and the unseen forces that shape our lives. Thank you for watching. Please like this video, share your view about this story in the comment section, and if you have not subscribed to my channel, please click the subscribe button. Bye.